What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike. My mic over here has been doing a pretty good job blocking out all this wind noise, so I figured I'd sit out here and shoot another quick video talking about the Tren marriage situation. Basically, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update and try to put a couple things into perspective because, you know, some of my last videos were very heated, as you may have noticed, and I said some very critical things of my wife, and so I want to put that into perspective. I've been doing YouTube now for like 3 years or so. I can't remember exactly. I have to go back and look. But I have never, during the entire process of making these videos, ever spared myself. You know, I put my entire life out there, and I've always been very honest about my shortcomings as a husband, as a father. You know, my wife has talked about, you know, my behaviors and all the things that I do. You know, we've been very transparent about all of my negatives. And, you know, no relationship is perfect. As you've seen in some of these last videos, my wife has plenty of problems of her own. Doesn't mean that I don't love her. Doesn't mean it's not something that I'm willing to work through. She works through my issues with me. I work through her issues with her. Sometimes those things just come to a fucking head. You know, sometimes things that you have learned to cope with during the course of a marriage can just feel like it's the breaking point. It can feel like it's just more than you can handle. And, you know, sometimes I've got a good view on it. Like, you know, sometimes I cope with the various things easily. And sometimes, you know, you just get in a mood and you feel fucking cheated in life. And you go, man, maybe I'd be happier somewhere else. Maybe the grass really is greener somewhere else. And that's just a natural course of events in a marriage. And so part of the point of this channel is showing the good and the bad, the highs and the lows. So, you know, you guys have seen the videos that she and I produce when we're feeling each other, when we're having sex 2-3 times a day, you know, when we're going to the gym, we're killing workouts, we're traveling, we're doing all these fun things. And it would be disingenuous to pretend like that's the way it always is. And it's not the way it always is. Sometimes it gets really shitty around here. And and I want to do a better job of showing that too. You know, it's easy to become somebody's fan. You know, a lot of people love my wife. I love my wife. I'm glad that you guys, you know, are a fan of her and want to see me do right by her, and I'm sure vice versa. So it can be easy, and I know this from experience because it's part of how we got together. It can be easy for someone to kind of take sides in a situation and go, man, Mike's being a fucking asshole, or she's being unbearable, or, you know, whatever. It's easy to develop an affinity for someone and then not like hearing someone else talk negatively about them. And I would just counsel all of you, you know, to take this shit with a grain of salt, man. Like, you're gonna see the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. You know, you're gonna see it all, because to me, that's the only way to be truly transparent. So many people who do social media, or they put their lives in the public, you know, in the public realm at all, it's all fucking scripted, man. It's bullshit. These reality TV shows, we know for a fact that the producers get involved and they create drama where there isn't drama. I don't need to create drama. My life has enough of it. And so that's what I set out to do, is to show how things really are. So anyway, I don't want to beat that point to death. As far as the update goes, last night was a much better night. My wife really is an amazing woman in a lot of ways. She has watched all of the videos that I've produced. She's chosen at this time not to, you know, make any rebuttal videos or response videos necessarily to the content that I've put out. Her attitude has been that this channel is my outlet. And obviously there's probably things that she doesn't 100% agree with, or maybe feels like I, you know, misrepresented or whatever. But, you know, like she said, maybe she'll talk about it to some degree. I'm glad that she didn't turn this into what I was afraid it might become, which is just basically like an online bitch fest. Like, I certainly don't want the two channels that my wife and I have to just be an avenue where we both take shots at each other, because nobody really wants to see that. I think it's funny every once in a while to see somebody melt down, have a rough time of it. You know, I'm glad you guys could see the humor even in the disaster, because often that's the way it is. You know, like when a couple's embroiled in a situation, it feels like life or death to you. You know, everything that you're going through feels like the fucking sky's falling, and to everybody else, they're just kind of like, holy shit, look at these two people. So, you know, hopefully we can all keep a level head about this, and And so I'm very lucky in that regard that, you know, once again, that she does put up with my shit the way I put up with hers, and that she lets me have this voice, because it's much better that I sit here and vent on YouTube and cry about all my problems than some of the things that I've done in the past, which I've admitted to. And, you know, there was a person in my life where when my wife and I were not getting along, and I would run to her and talk about our problems, and that is far worse, I promise you, than putting it in the streets, as somebody said. So, so that's what you can continue to expect to see here. I'm gonna continue to update you guys on that, because I think it's interesting. The Tren is gonna be a roller coaster ride. There's no doubt about it. I'm feeling really good today. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I got my appetite coming back. The lifts in the gym are going well. The compound it's certainly not stabilized. It's gonna get worse for sure. I was able to get some good sleep last night. And so right now, my wife and I are doing very, very good. We have these little blow-ups, and I melt down and I get it all out, and then we buckle up and we do what we need to do, and we try to create a happy, healthy environment for ourselves and our children. That's one of the other things that people may or may not take exception to. You know, I involve my children in a lot of adult life. Like they are two of the most mature kids I've ever seen. And we are told that by every single person that comes into contact with them. And because of their maturity levels, they get to do things like, you know, travel like we're doing now. My son rides quads with me up in the mountains, and, you know, we ride them on the streets sometimes. We have a lot of fun. I get to take him to the gym. We get to do a lot of cool things together, because I don't keep my kids in the dark. I think that one of the best ways to be a parent is to expose your children, reasonably expose your children to the facts and the realities of life. One of the things my dad told me, my parents were divorced when I was 13, and they had a horrible time of it. They fought like cats and dogs. And my dad told me that when he was coming up, his parents never fought in front of him. They would always go outside. They would always go for a car ride or something. They felt like it was just unhealthy for the children to see them fight. And so one of the things that my dad never learned growing up is that adults fight, and it's okay. And sometimes we say mean, horrible things to each other. Sometimes we get loud. Sometimes we break shit. And it doesn't mean that the marriage is over. It doesn't mean that the family's falling apart. I think it's healthy for kids to see that life is not always, it's not always great. Things are not always good. They get to see the goods. They get to see the bads. I let you guys see the goods. I let you guys see the bads. And so that's real, man. That's real life. That's what this is all really about. And I feel like if more people were this way, if more people genuinely shared their lives, we wouldn't need all of the crap that we have going on in our society, where all of a sudden there's this need to just normalize everything. Normalize obesity, normalize mental health, normalize, fucking whatever. I mean, there's some scary shit out there right now that people are trying to normalize. And I think that one of the things that we need to do as a society is realize that some things are not fucking normal, man. And that's okay. It's okay for something to be not normal. It's not healthy to take the kind of drugs that I take. In the same way that it's not healthy for anyone to be morbidly obese. You can have body positivity all you want, but the reality is that we need to stop normalizing everything in life. We need to just call a spade a spade. The kind of fights that my wife and I have, maybe normal for us, not normal for somebody else. As a bodybuilder, that's one of the things I always find interesting with this normalized life fucking bullshit. I don't want to be normal, man. I hope they never normalize bodybuilding. I hope we never get to a point where it's expected that everybody else look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because I want to be a freak. I like being a freak. I like going to the gym and having people looking at me and making comments, and that's fun to me. I hope that these things never become normalized, because when you normalize it, then it just becomes boring, and it just becomes average and mundane, and it loses all of its power, And so that's it, man. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. It's a piece of, how I view that. I think that it's really important that people have genuine life experiences and share their genuineness, because that is the thing that unites us. Rather than trying to sit here and force everyone to agree with our worldview, to force everyone to agree with our, you know, use our pronouns or whatever shit makes you feel comfortable. Why not just be who you are, be it in public, and then let everybody else decide how they feel about it. If you guys hate me, if you hate my content, if you hate the way I diet, if you hate the way I treat my life, you can click the fucking button and never look at it again. I don't need to cancel anybody, and I don't need anybody trying to cancel me. I just want to live my life, have fun, and get the, you know, the most experience I can get out of this life, because this is the only chance I've got. You know, I gave up on this idea of living the perfect life a long time ago. I don't want to live a perfect life. When I die, I intend to deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go out with a fucking bang, and I'll probably go out with a bang in my heart, but that's the chance I'm willing to take. And some people think that that's unfair to my family, but I gotta tell you, man, my family, every member of my family has gotten to the opportunity to live a very exciting life on the back of some of my craziness. So there you have it. Hopefully you guys will all stay tuned to the further ups and downs, the drama, and just the ever-evolving reality TV show, because that is what this will always be, whether you like it or not. It is just who I am, it's who we are, it's who we're gonna be. So thanks again for watching, we'll see you on the next one.